What's up YouTube? My name is Amisbro, and for this video we're going to do something I don't usually do. We're going to talk about a game that I'm currently playing, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it as we sit here right now. Okay? The game we're going to talk about is called Mystic Messenger, a game which is on Android and iOS and brought to us by a company called Cheris. Their Twitter is @Cheritz, CHERITZ _DL. Okay? The story behind the game is actually one of the darkest you will ever play through. And I'm not even done yet. So here's the deal. You play the MC, and you found a phone and you don't know who it belongs to. Well, somebody gets a hold of you through a messenger app on the phone and tells you to go to a certain address that has an apartment, but the apartment has a key lock on it, or a passcode lock on it. Well, for some reason this person knows the code. Who it is, we don't know. Literally. Your job, once the person gives it to you, is to go into the room, and then from there what happens is you end up in a chat room that apparently only people from that are affiliated with a certain agency are supposed to be allowed to get into. This room and these people are affiliated with a group called RFA. Now, from what I've gathered, that actually stands for Reka Fundraising Agency. Okay? Well, all the individuals that are in this room, they use it to talk amongst each other and organize the chats and organize the parties that they're going to be involved in. Which actually sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? And it is. But what you find out also is that the person that was supposed to be helping them do this, Rika, took her life. So now you, in effect, have to help them restart the parties and make the agency what it once was. If that doesn't sound like the darkest and deepest stuff ever, I don't know what is, to be honest. Like, holy mackerel. So here is the basic system that the game uses. In the game, you're going to be doing a lot of choices, but the choices are done in the different chat rooms that you go to. I know, standard visual novel thing, right? Just one thing. Each one of these affects certain things in the game. It affects your standing with the boy, and it also gives you either a heart, which is important in the game, or an hourglass. The hourglasses are also important. Here's why. The way the game is structured, you get automatically 30 hourglasses. Okay? The hourglasses are used to do one of two things. Open up the next day that you're supposed to go to, or, pay attention, be allowed to go back to a conversation that you missed. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's kind of one of the flaws of the game. You see, the way the game is structured, it operates on a 24-hour clock. So it starts at 00 and goes back around to the next 00. So it literally goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then it goes 13, 14, 15, 16. See what I'm saying? It literally goes 24 hours. then again, it's going off basically. I know in Japan they use the clock, and I think in Korea they also use a 24-hour clock. So, it's rather interesting. It's also interesting and somewhat of a pain in the neck because you see the way the game is programmed. There's people that will have chat rooms that go on literally at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, why is this a big deal? Because you see, going back to the hourglasses, most normal people, unless you're like a really bad case of insomnia, are going to bed around 11. So you're probably missing the chat room at 12, 3, maybe 7. And maybe you'll get that one. With the way the game is structured, you would think that a day would not really start until, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock when most normal people would be up. Now I get that they do this for reasons. Because if you miss the room, you use the hourglasses to go back, and then if you run out of hourglasses, they make you pay for them. In order to get an hourglass, you have to do you can do a few things. One is, in the course of your chats, if you give a particular answer to a question when they're given to you, you can get an hourglass or you can get a heart. But be careful, because if you give a wrong answer, you could also get a break, and that's not something you want. Because if you're trying to save up your hearts for a different amount of hourglasses, well, guess what's not going to happen? You're not going to be able to get the hourglasses. Here's what really sucks, though, and they really should think in long term about maybe making the hearts you earn more worth it in the end. You only get 1 hourglass for every 100. If you're trying to get enough so that you save up so that you can, I don't know, if you can get, what is it? If you can get into somebody's route, do you know how long it's going to take you? And the game doesn't just let you go back and redo conversations so you can farm for hourglasses. The game doesn't work that way, unfortunately. It sucks, but it's legit the way it goes. Here's another one that's interesting. Because of the fact that the game operates on a 24-hour clock, whatever time you create your account for the game is the time your day starts. Now, you can't go back to any of the conversations that you missed earlier. So it's impossible unless you legit make your account at midnight and then go all the way around to 100% day one. It's impossible. Because after you do the prologue, it starts you literally at whatever time in the day that you're on. So whatever day you're on, whatever time you're on, that's the chat room that's going to open. Now, if you're early enough, like say 10 o'clock in the morning, you might be able to get enough rooms open that you'll get a decent amount. But it'll be virtually impossible to get 100. The other days, it's a bit more feasible. Especially if you know the times that they're opening. Oh, but you also get another thing you have to do. You have to pick up the phone when they call you, and you have to answer questions. Now, what these questions do, this is one of the things. You understand what the choices for the chat rooms do, and eventually what the email ones do. You get that. But what you don't know is what do the phone conversations do for your story. Because it's not like they're, depending on your choice, it's not like they're giving you an indicator. And that's one thing I mentioned, and I actually mentioned this on Twitter when I was tweeting at them. One of the next updates they should do is give you a way to know whose route you're going to be closest to getting. Because like I said, if you're someone like me that wants to get, say, Jahi, then you're going to want to focus on making sure that you get her route, her answers right. If you're someone that wants to get Yosung, or you want to get Zen, or you want to get Seven, or you want to get Jumin, well, if you want to get Jumin, you have to buy the deep route. Hey, this is what's interesting to me, though, and I was thinking about this. So, it's a Tome game, but one of the routes they give you is effectively a Yuri route, because one of the routes involves a female character. She can pretty much be gender fluid because she is a woman. Okay, gender fluid is not the right term, but she is a woman, but she can dress in what looks to be male. So I swear to you, when I looked at her, I was like, wait, that's a her? Looked like a dude. Nonetheless, though, she's literally my favorite character because of all that she has to eat from Jung-Min Han. Jahi Kang is his assistant, and my God, do I feel for her. Oh, you have no idea. If somebody asks me why is she like my favorite, well, there's reasons, and she's one of those characters that I don't know if in the fandom she gets to be appreciated as much as some other characters. I see a lot of love for Seven. I see a lot of love for Yosung. I see a lot of love for Zen. But my girl, like I said, her next chat room that I'll get to actually play before I go to bed, it's at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like 3:08 in the morning. Like, the game should be trying to figure out ahead of time, well, okay, they're going for this route, so let's try to move up her things so that you can play hers and be able to gain her affection so you can move on through the story. I do think, to a degree, by the way, also, that the game would actually be better served if it was on this. I'll tell you why. Okay? The Vita, and yes, I know this has smudges on it, but you can tell I've used it a lot. I'm going to get back to using it soon. I've decided to get back to working on Shiki's Room Dance with Devils, for God's sakes. I think the game would be really well served on the Vita for the reason that we that are Otome fans want to play the game, and it would be really cool if somehow it was worked where you could just freely go through a day, and each time you go through one of the days, or each time you get to a certain point, you can make the choices that will help affect whose route you get to by day 5. Because it's 11 days, but what's interesting is they only use 4 days to build up who you're going to go to. Then the other 7 days are devoted towards getting the right ending. And it's just so weird for some reason to me. Because it's like, this game can work brilliantly on a handheld, like a legit handheld, like the Vita, or even maybe the 3D. It's well, okay. The 3DS I don't know. The Vita, I for some reason think if you took this game and you put it on there, it would be brilliant. Like if Chariots and say Limited Run did a thing, and they said to test the market, we'll put this game out on a physical cart and see how people do with it. And I would almost be willing to bet with the fandom that they have, because I'm gonna tell you this now, right? If I were to look up the Mystic Messenger app on Google Play, I think it has over 100,000 downloads right now. Imagine those 100,000 being able to play the game freeform, basically, on the Vita. And imagine them, this is just me, being able to play the game freeform with a couple of tweaks. Like, you don't have to worry about the hourglasses. The hearts can still matter, though. You can figure out whose route you're going to go to. Do you want to go to Jahi? Do you want to go to Jumin? Do you want to go to Zen? Do you want to go to Seven? Who do you want to go to? And you can build up and you can learn each character's story as you move through the days. Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, with the way the game's structured, it wouldn't last that long. But you have 7 characters to go through. 7. And okay, even if you wanted to do the thing where it's built on the clock, that's cool. But you have to make it so that it's fair in some respects. Like, here's what's it. Here, we're going to use Code Realize for this example. I'm going to explain why, okay? Code Realize, depending on literally, this was a really Easter egg they put in. Depending on the time of day you played the game, the background of the game showed that time of day in Steel London, which was awesome because it showed, okay, you're playing in the morning, so it's a bright sunny day. You're playing in the afternoon, so or in the early evening, so the sun's starting to set. You're playing in the evening, it's night out. You could still have the 24-hour clock, but being able to play freely as if the clock doesn't, as if, you're not restricted by what you can do, would be just so great. Now, like I said, I know why they do it, because they want to make it a mobile game, and mobile's like insanely popular with games like this, the Voltage games. D3 makes a couple of Otomes, and they make a lot of BL games. I can understand why you go stick with that market. But I would think that there's enough people that want to play the game on a Vita. Could you imagine people playing Mystic Messenger and they get connected to these characters like I am with Jahi, with Miss Kang? I love her to death. She's like my little sister she's not little, but she's like my sister that I want to protect and make sure that the meanie Mr. Han doesn't abuse his power with her. Do you dig what I'm saying? But if you want to go check out the game, and I do strongly suggest it, go on Google Play and look up Mystic Messenger, and let me tell you something. Just based on what I've played, a lot of fun. Just remember, you're on a clock, and you have to make sure that you have enough time to do what you need to. The good news is, by the way, as far as the chats go, they don't take long. I think, unless you're like me and you literally are looking at a walkthrough, so you know the choices are going to go bang, 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 because literally the text messages are going. They actually go faster at their normal speed than most dialogue does in Otomes on a Vita. And I can actually read pretty fast, so that's a good thing. But yeah, please go check out this game. You will not be sorry that you did. And maybe if enough of us play and we bitch about it, the Chariots, they'll work on making a version for handhelds. Because believe me when I tell you, I think my Vita would actually love to play that game, to be honest. What you say, gang? Later.